This video is for people who want to learn more about long-form sales pages and more specifically how to make sure that they convert as highly as possible. So a few months back, I did a detailed sales page critique for one of my clients, Theodore from Practical Psychology, on one of their sales pages. And I wanted to share this video with you because I think that you'll find a lot of practical insights and very valuable information inside that can help you architect a high converting sales page for yourself as well, or can just help you, refine your own sales page if you already have one. So make sure to grab a drink, get a popcorn or some food with you, because this is a long video. It's like over 40 minutes and it's definitely not for everyone. But if you want to get an insider's look into how I work with clients and what we focus on during these audits, then you'll get a valuable peek into my process and hopefully you'll gain a lot of value from this as well. So grab a drink, maybe even an alcoholic one, and enjoy. Hey Theodore, welcome to the sales page review. And first of all, before we dive in, I want to congratulate you on expanding the course and the scope of the course, because it's a pretty good course, and basically there are so many things about selling, all these subtle mindset shifts and stuff like that that a lot of courses don't really cover. So if you do, that elevates your course even higher. Now, I want to split this review into three main parts: the UX, strategy, and copy section. And I'm going to go into more detail in each, but I wanted to basically group them in such a way so that it's easier to understand. The other thing, I hope this timer, when it runs out, I'm not going to be redirected to some place. We'll see. So first of all, UX. You have a nice and simple sales page. It's a little bit, it seems outdated, but it's really minimalistic. It's you only have a few colors. Obviously, your call to action button has a different color, so that's good. But I would, if you're doing these bigger launches and you want to increase the price point to at least like $500 or something, I would get a designer, because even if you only spend a few $100s on it, I think it would really elevate the feel and the basically the professionalism of the whole sales page. So this is something to definitely keep in mind. Now, regarding your text, it's very text heavy, which is not a problem, and I've seen a lot of sales pages who are even more text heavy. But an interesting trend that it's occurring nowadays is that people are using bigger fonts. So on desktop, they're using at least an 18, even more, maybe 10, 20 or 22. And on mobile, they're using at least 16 or even 18. So this was considered a little bit big like a few years ago, but nowadays I've seen a lot of people who are basically the authorities in various online course topics, and these trends just keep popping up. So you should definitely increase the text size here, and also you should make these columns a little bit narrower. So this is just a bit distracting to see all these various like length text. You should decrease the column width, and you should make the text a little bit more organized in this regard. Now, this is also a little bit tied to UX, this question box here. I like it. I really like it that you have such a thing, because a lot of people, let's face it, they're going to have some questions and maybe the FAQ section won't cover it. So this is definitely good. However, if you're also interested in Facebook ads and you want to scale this probably in the future, I would look into integrating a messenger script here. So instead of this pure chat window, you have a messenger logo, and once people click it, they will basically either be taken to your messenger account, so you can chat with them easily there, your business messenger. But you can also use chatbots, and there's a company called ManyChat. It's free until they have a really generous free tier, And I'm also gonna use it eventually, and I know a lot of people who use it, and it's pretty good for building out really simple chatbots or just using Messenger as basically customer service, or answering questions. So this is something to keep in mind. If you don't want to use Messenger, then I also recommend talk.to, TAWK.to. It's also a good one, but if you have success with this one, then keep it. Now, regarding UX, the bonuses section, it's in the final part of the sales page. I'm gonna also tell you a bit more about it in the copy section, but from a design perspective, I think you should definitely highlight the bonuses a bit more. It's once people are scrolling through your sales page, it's easy to them to miss. Maybe they will notice the icons here as well, but it's a little bit crammed, and these bonuses are very valuable. So you should definitely highlight how valuable this is and add a little bit more white space, because we all know that more white space increases the sense of quality. Just think about Apple. So either maybe include 2 bonuses per line or 1 per line, so let them scroll, or you can just use a column layout and alternate. So 1 bonus is in the left side and you have text to the right, then as you scroll down you have the bonus to the right and the text to the left, so something like that. And regarding these icons, these graphics, I mean, they're okay, but to me, this may be a personal opinion, but to me, it doesn't seem too professional. So I get that your target audience are more probably millennials and Generation Z and younger people, but I don't know. Maybe for now, just leave it, but eventually keep this in mind. And also, I wanna highlight the fact that you should definitely use a heat mapping software. I don't know if you use it right now, but something like Hotjar or SmartLook, you can just install it on, you can just add a code into your header section. Thrive Themes makes this very easy. They also have a plugin for WordPress, by the way. And you can just see how people interact with your page, how they scroll, what they click on, what they view, and just see how they react to these icons and make decisions based on that. And I wasn't counting to cover this, but I see with Facebook Helper that you have 4 things here. Okay, so you set this up already for the button click. That's good. That's good. I see that I thought that you have 2 pixels installed at once, but this is really good because you have just 1, and you've probably set this up in Facebook ads as well. And which brings me to another point. If you want to use Facebook ads more, then Teachable is probably not the best for it, because the Teachable checkout experience isn't optimized for Facebook ads. And that's why I actually purchased an app called Thrivecart. It has nothing to do with Thrive Themes, but it's basically a checkout software, and it's really sophisticated in a sense that you can do tons of upsells, tracking, cart abandonment, email, stuff like that. And now if you want to do it with Facebook ads, if you want to retarget people who have visited this, that's easy. But if you want to retarget people who've checked out but didn't buy, that's really hard with Teachable. So eventually this is something to keep in mind, because you cannot really integrate the pixel itself with the Teachable checkout page. And you cannot send easy cart abandonment emails because of this, which are usually really important to bump your sales by at least, let's say, 20% or something. Okay, so but getting back to my list. Regarding the timer at the top, you have this timer, which is really good. I'm guessing you're using Thrive Ultimatum for this, but I would move this as seen on section under this above the fold element here, so under the headline and subheadline, and make it a little bit less contrasty, and use this timer to take up the entire top section, and also include some text with it. So basically, just say special offer ends in this time or something. But since you're gonna have a launch window, like a week-long launch window, I wouldn't use especially this timer in the first few days. I would only use it in the last 48 hours here at the top. But and you can set this in Thrive Architect. They have in Thrive Ultimatum, they have a Thrive University course on this actually, and you can easily find out how to set it up so that if the promotion is longer than 24 hours, then it doesn't show, or 48 hours. And if people enter, like individually, they enter into a time frame which is less than 48 hours until the end of the promotion, then this will be shown. And also a timer, it would be really good to include a timer under the call to action button. So I also use this, and a lot of people use this, and this would be visible anytime. So this wouldn't be red or something like that. This would be visible anytime, like even if people just click it and the end of the promotion is still 1 week after they click it. But once the promotion enters into the final stage, so less than 48 or 24 hours until the end of the promotion, you can use a red one, so something which is more striking. And again, this is all covered in that Thrive Ultimatum free course on Thrive University. The other point is to make the testimonials stand out more. So I noticed that, you have a ton of testimonials, and that's good, but once people are scrolling, it's relatively easy to miss it. Like if they're looking for this, it's okay, but you should use some type of background color for this, some very light shade of this green, or a very light shade of this yellow that you have here, something like that to make it more striking. Now the other thing is the introduction section. It needs to stand out more. So this is the introduction section, introducing your course, and you should definitely have some visual elements here, some arrows, or there's something called fancy dividers in Thrive Architect, that creates something like this, or just an arrow that is animated or something like that, and make this much bigger, make this mock-up bigger. Just use something which commands attention a bit more, because it's easy to just scroll through it, and people might think it's still part of the hook section. And other than that, considering the UX, there are some various small imperfections here and there. It's just it shows that this sales page wasn't designed by a designer. I'm not saying it's bad, but you have some the part here, the padding is too big here, or this here the padding is too small, or just this green here is too aggressive. What else? Yeah, so basically stuff like that, small things. So these aren't really deal breakers or big things, but yeah, just small things. What else? The product tour section is just too bland. This is also a UX problem. It's this product tour, I'm referring to this one. So basically all the bullets and all the just overview of all these modules. I think you should definitely open this up, because don't worry if the sales page becomes too long, it's not a problem. But you should definitely open this up and create a visually distinct section for each module. So either you use a different background, or you make use some type of separator element, some horizontal separating element. But the thing is that you should open this up and make these bullets more visible. Use, bold things, underline, stuff like that. I think when I gave you the bullets, I use these. So I always include, bold elements, underlined elements, italic elements, sometimes even elements in caps lock. So just use this because it's a little bit intimidating. And again, these bullets are a little bit too long in their current form. So yeah, that's one thing that you could definitely do, and you can also include a graphic, some type of graphic for each module, like the stuff that you did here. You included a graphic for each bonus. You could do basically the same thing with some icons. Maybe even if you just use, you know, a symbol inside Thrive Architect, or you can just use some custom image, anything. But the idea is to just make this. Oops, I don't know why this came in. Sorry. So yeah, you just use something to make it more appealing, more desirable, because the aim of the bullets is to make your product much more desirable. And let's face it, I think it does that, but people, maybe they're not feeling it if they just see text everywhere. So that basically concludes the UX section. So now I want to talk about the strategy section a bit. And the first point I actually covered here is to basically use SmartLook or Hotjar as a heat mapping tool to see how people are interacting with your page. So that's covered. The other thing that you could use is to use a social proofing plugin. And you have a few options here. The best one is probably called Proof. So it's proof.com, proof.com. And it's paid, I think, but you have a free version which you can use on only one page, but this is perfect for you, and it's called ProofSource, proofsource.com. And what this does basically is that, you know, a little bit of text appears here. I will just show you here on my own page. Just a second. Okay, I think I use it on this page, and it's the free version. So yeah, you see this one. It basically appears that somebody did something. Somebody signed up for the checklist. Somebody bought the course. X number of people are visiting this. You can do all sorts of cool things here. You can customize everything here, the color and stuff like that. And if you have a lot of traffic and you have a lot of buyers, then you know, people will see that as they are scrolling through the page, and maybe they're thinking, yeah, I don't know, but what if this is a scam, stuff like that. And then, you know, this pops up and says John Doe purchased this 16 minutes ago or something like that. So you should definitely look into it. Proofsource.com. It's free to use it on one page, and it's basically, people say that it increases conversions by around 15%. Now, the other strategic thing is to refine your pricing strategy a bit. So now you only have one button, and it's cool for a $300 product. But even then, maybe you could use a payment plan. Now, I don't know if you want to use payment plans or not for this one, but at least you should offer two versions. So if you're using the payment plan, then you should have one button to the left, which is a monthly payment, and that anchors people to the lower price. And you should have a pay in full type of button, or you know, column or call to action to the right, which is a better deal. So it's basically cheaper by 20%, but people have to pay in full. And I actually have an example here from one of Ramit's courses. So this is how you should use it basically. As you can see, there's a get started today, and it basically aims at people who are more price aware. They have an aversion of bigger prices, and basically you just say join the course. And you should also include this text here, obviously somewhat different, but you should include something like the guarantee, or that they can contact you or your support team or something like that, and also a few credibility icons here. And then you have another tier, which is the best value. So even though it's more expensive, it's still the best value, because and you should definitely use this exactly, like pay in full and save $91, if I see correctly. Yeah, $91. Because because this works really well. This works really well. So this format is proven, and it converts much higher than only using one version or using two versions, but in different styles. So yeah. Let's see the other one. Regarding the guarantees, I think that you should not use these images. I totally get what you're doing here, and I like that you want to make this as effortless and as real as possible, but I have never ever seen a guarantee box which included pictures like this on any sales page ever, on any like multi-million dollar or big sales page. And the reason why I would probably cut this is that, yes, you want to tell people that this is legit and you don't want to scam them, but this just it sends the wrong message, in my opinion. So I would definitely cut this, and the rest is okay. I would just probably name this something like not just the 30-day 100% money back guarantee, but give it a fantasy name like ironclad money back guarantee, like 30-day ironclad money back guarantee, or 30-day unconditional money back guarantee. Nowadays, what I see that is more and more popular is that people are not saying money back guarantee, they're saying satisfaction guarantee. So apparently there are a few new studies or something that says that people are more inclined to buy if they see a satisfaction guarantee. I don't know about this too much. It's just an idea. But you should definitely, cut these images, in my opinion. Okay, what else? The Facebook pixel part we covered. But I just still wanna ask you, or just make you think about this. Since Teachable checkout doesn't really go well with Facebook's pixel too much, how are you going to retarget people who have visited the checkout page? Because this is very important. It's one thing to retarget website visitors or people who have interacted with your Facebook page, but it's another thing to retarget people who are so close to buying. It only just takes one click or one extra push, and you should definitely use a different type of retargeting ad for these. And with Teachable, it's a bit hard to track this. And in my case, because I was also trying to set this up, it was hard to find a solution around registering this as a purchase objective. So finally, I used Facebook's tool. There's a tool somewhere that you can transform any button into basically a purchase or a conversion objective. I'm guessing you also did the same thing here. But regarding retargeting, I just use people who have visited, who have clicked this button, people who have clicked this button, but haven't visited the thank you page. So that is what I use, and I redirect people to a custom URL as a thank you page. If you're using Teachable, probably that thank you page can also serve as your pixel. I don't know exactly, but just look into this a little bit more, because it's going to be really, really important to also do a retargeting video ad or something, just a very quick thing, reminding them of the guarantee, of the bonuses, something like that, or of the scarcity, in a retargeting ad that targets only cart abandoned people. Your audience is going to be extremely small, obviously, but you can just set it to run on $2 a day, and it will make a huge difference. Okay, the other thing, I think I covered this as well a little bit, regarding the dynamic countdown timer. So I think you should include a countdown timer under each button, under each call to action section. So once you have two buttons here, as we discussed, you have one countdown timer under it, and this is visible anytime. So anytime people visit it, and once people enter into that final stage, so let's say 24 hours until the cart closes or price goes up, then you should set things up in Thrive Ultimatum to display it in red. And you should also show a top navigation bar which is basically, which has the same function as this timer here, but you should make it sticky. So once people scroll down, it's sticky. It's always there, and it says cart closes in X hours, and you also have a call to action. So buy now or something like that. And it's sticky. So once people scroll, it doesn't disappear, but you should definitely have a little X here so that people can make it go away if they're really annoyed by it. Yeah, so that's with the dynamic countdown timers. And I also think that you should really use Thrive Ultimatum to lock down your page after it. So either if the cart closes, then you should redirect them to a like waiting page. Sorry, you missed this opportunity. Psychology of Selling will open in 2 months again, or something like that. Or you redirect them to a normal page which doesn't include the call to action with the coupon code, which gives them a discount. So something like that. The other thing is that you have this video here, which I like, but I think you shouldn't use YouTube for it. You should upload it to Wistia instead. I also tried this. It's pretty cool. Wistia has a free account as well, and you can upload, I think, 3 videos, so up to 3 videos, and it's way better because you can track what people do with the video, and most importantly, you can eliminate all ads, you can eliminate all these distracting buttons, and you can also make the video player customizable in a sense that you have control over what people are doing. So to give you a better idea, you can make this button bigger, and that's good because people are more likely to click bigger buttons. But you can also basically turn off this scrolling section, and this is really important because if you have a video sales letter, you don't want people to scroll around everywhere. The one of the main benefits of a video sales letter is that you have an opportunity to deliver a complete sales message to people, because they're more likely to watch a 20-minute VSL than to read an entire sales page that would take them more than 20 minutes to read. So this is definitely to keep in mind. Just upload the video to Wistia, and basically you can leave everything as is, and you won't have all these distracting elements. Disable the scroll, so this video scroll. Also disable the controls, and also disable the settings. The only thing that people can do with your video, and even disable the full screen. I'm not kidding. You should disable the full screen because there are some studies apparently that say that if people watch videos in full screen, they are more likely to phase out or use their phones or something like that. And also, if they're watching it in full screen, they're not scrolling. So a lot of people will watch the video, and while they are listening to it, they're also checking out the copy, the text. So that's really something to keep in mind. So the only thing that you should have is that the player, the play button, and people can pause it. That's it. They cannot even expand it into a full screen video. They cannot click to YouTube. They cannot scroll. They cannot click on settings, anything. Just the player, play, pause. That's it. The other big strategic thing that I was thinking about is that you could eventually transition into a cart closes model instead of this price goes up. And I mentioned this a few minutes ago, to redirect people to a cart closed page, because you can also set this up in Thrive Ultimatum to create an evergreen promotion and then open the cart every 3 months or so. So this seems to work better than simple price increases or various discounts. And if you transition to this like a traditional launch model, then you should definitely look into something called the product launch formula from Jeff Walker. It's a complete system that's basically the gold standard in launching online courses and digital information products. It's a big course, so if you want to buy it, it's like $2,000 at least. But I think you can definitely find a lot of information about it on the internet as well for free. The main thing here is to use this product launch formula framework, which has its own, beta launch, pre-launch, launch, post-launch things. And there's also something called the sideways sales letter. You should look into this one. And for your next course, or if you really want to take this up to like $1,000 course eventually, you should consider using something like a sideways sales letter. So yeah, also you could, so this starts to become the price point, because I'm thinking you want to sell this for 500 for, what the? This thing, again, I have this bug on MacBook that this thing just keeps popping up. I don't know why. Maybe a software update will solve it, but yeah, sorry about it. I wanted to say that if you're wanted to scale your course up to $500 or $1,000, then you should start using webinars as well. So there's a point after like $500 that basically, even though people know you a lot, maybe they're less inclined to buy unless they get some type of interactivity before buying the course. So that's also included in the product launch formula that I mentioned. So the idea is to include an exercise or something dynamic that sucks people into this whole mindset, because the main thing is that, and what I see more and more of, is that a lot of times people don't buy because they just don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can do it. Many people think that they don't buy because they don't believe in you. And I think that's less and less important and a major issue at your level. But a lot of people don't buy because they think this would never work for me. So if you just include 1-2 webinars, even one webinar, and make an interactive live component, then people would be much more engaged to buy. And also you could use this price lowering strategy to offer a special one-time discount on the webinar. So this is a really nice technique that a lot of people use, so that, let's say the course is 500, you get people on the webinar, and then you offer a $200 off, so that the course becomes $300 or something like that. But that coupon is only available on the webinar, or maybe plus 2 hours after the webinar, something like that. And then after it, the price is just normal. It's $500, and the main scarcity and urgency here is that the cart closes and they will miss out. So you should definitely consider this and keep it in mind. So regarding the copy section, the final section that I want to mention here, the headline. This is the most important thing, and I mentioned this like 1 year ago, and I still don't like it, because giving the main headline the name of your course isn't really a good thing. You should definitely use something which is more attention grabbing, more emotional, something that resonates with people who are at least mildly interested in this. So you should definitely not make it the product name, but you need something strong that connects with people emotionally. Now, this subheadline is really good. I wouldn't change this at all. Just, rewrite the headline in a way that it naturally goes into this subhead, and make it much bigger, like much bigger, like 3 times the size, because you want to basically lower bounce rates and make the headline, which is your most appealing part of the sales page. Basically, it's the whole gateway drug that gets people to read and to watch the video. So to make it as big, as compelling as possible. Now, regarding your lead and hooks, so this first section, I was thinking that since you're expanding the scope of the course, maybe you should focus also on people who are not directly tied to sales, because all these questions, basically they presuppose that people have something to sell. So the first question basically presupposes that somebody has something to sell. The second question presupposes that they have something to sell and they are feeling scammy or sleazy. And the third question presupposes that they are doing the things mentioned before, and they also want to make money. Obviously, this third one is a little bit more universal, but these two, they might alienate some people that you don't want to alienate just yet. Because what if somebody isn't involved in sales yet, but they're interested in it? I think you can make a more compelling hook if you also focus on non-sales people who could only be interested in sales, and they realize over the course of the sales page that, hey, yeah, I'm actually interested in this. I want to try it out, but I have no experience. And I'm guessing most of your audience doesn't really have much experience with selling at all. The other thing is that I think you have approximately the right amount of copy. So if we also consider these bullet points here and everything, which you should definitely expand, you have the right amount of copy. The problem is that it's too monotone. Like this section here, it's all a big chunk of text. And even though, all these lines are separated, which is good, you should have more subheadlines during these paragraphs. So you should aim to use, let's say, one subhead per 7-10 paragraphs. So the idea here is that if somebody reads the complete sales page, they get a story, they get an idea implanted in their heads. But if they only scroll through, they should be able to basically get a very similar story, which goes in parallel with the main story, only by reading the subheads. So if they're just scrolling and they're only reading the subheads, they should get a rough idea which tells the same story that your entire sales page does. Do you get what I'm saying here? Basically, the idea is to just include a total of, I would say, I don't know, like 10, 15 subheads, which make an emotional and logical connection between them, and that guide people through the story of your sales page who are not interested in reading the whole stuff. Also, another thing is that you should use You use a lot of testimonials, and that's good, but you should also use or take one of those and turn it into a more in-depth case study style testimonial after the product reveal. So after you expand this part and you cover all these things, and you also put the bonus section here, I will just mention this in a few minutes, then you have a very visually distinct section which includes just one testimonial, but it's a case study. It's more like a mini story, and you can use I don't know, something which takes up 300, 500 words. It can be that long, so it's not a problem. But the idea here is that people are more likely to read that one testimonial and feel understood than read all these other testimonials. So these are just like, social proof, basically, and people scroll through it and they say, I can see that this is legit, but they're probably not really reading it. But if you have one major testimonial here in a case study format, chances are people will read it. The other thing is that in your case, I would put this FAQ section lower, so towards the end here, probably after this testimonial part here, and I would definitely move this bonus section up. So I would move it right after the product reveal here. So once you expand these things, I would put the bonus section here, because you want to basically stack all these various benefits. You want to stack all the things that people are getting here. And if you separate them, it's not the best idea. Maybe you are thinking to, have something towards the end as well to, remind them of all the things that they're getting. And that's fine, but this main bonus section should be moved to the product reveal page, and then you should have basically a quick recap of what people are getting if they buy, right next to this pricing section here. So once you transform this pricing section, the call to action section, into two main offers, Above it, you have basically a pricing table, and Thrive Architect has this. You have a pricing table and you just list all the things that they're getting. It doesn't have to be so benefit driven. You can also, list features here. You're saying you get this many hours of HD content, you get audios, you get PDFs, you get checklists, you get I don't know, this many bonuses. You can mention 10 different things, let's say, and that serves the purpose of this final bonus section, but with the added benefit of moving this final bonus section to the product reveal page, product reveal part, because it's stronger this way. What else? One more thing is that after your second call to action here, you should definitely have one last final section, let's say around 500 words of copy, which is basically a final close. So the aim of this is to empower people to make a choice, and you can remind them of the urgency or scarcity here, and you can remind them of all the things that they get, but you should make it more emotional and more conversational, so not salesy at all. Basically, you just talk to them, straight up, and you tell them, hey, if you want to continue what you've done so far, that's totally fine. It's your decision. Then nothing will change in your life. But if you've read so far and you know that you're getting this, and you know that this is the best system on the market for this, then you should definitely consider enrolling in the course, because it's risk-free. You owe it to yourself to give this your chance, and you have nothing to lose. So what are you gonna do? Something like this, just expand it, and this would be really beneficial, because this last part, I feel that this part is very, very strong and very heavy in persuasion tactics, but after the money back guarantee section, it becomes much weaker. In itself, this bonus section is much weaker, and people don't have anything after this part. So what I would use is to include is to move this button, basically. No, actually leave this button, but move the bonus section before this button. Have the money back guarantee after this first button. Have the testimonials after this first button, and the case study testimonial that I mentioned, and then move this FAQ under this this testimonial section, and then after it include that line, that final close that I mentioned, and then use the button again, the call to action section, obviously with the two offers and with the table that basically lists everything that they get. So yeah, and one other smaller thing is to add terms of service, privacy policy, and some legal text if needed towards the end, because this is definitely needed from a legal perspective, especially if you're scaling your sales up and up. It's just a matter of time before somebody comes back and makes a problem or issue of this. So you should definitely just include some very small text here with links to the terms. Or you can also mention, I think this is mandatory in some states, that if you use this course, that doesn't guarantee that you will make all this money that I made. This isn't a guaranteed investment, stuff like that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how this exactly works, but I've seen this in the end of many sales pages. So yeah, basically that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and then I will send you this video along with the new bullets and along with the little one-pager of all the things that I mentioned here. Cheers. Hey, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and if you loved it, then subscribe to the channel and also click that little notification icon, because I'm releasing videos really pretty often during these times, and that way you can be the first one to know when I launch a new one. Also, leave a comment below and let me know the #1 thing you learned from this video. I know sales pages aren't for everyone, especially long-form sales pages, but if you're somebody who's interested in them, then make sure to let me know your thoughts, because I am genuinely curious, and I want to know how to serve you even better in the following videos. Also, if you want more hands-on long-form content like this in a written form, basically, then make sure to visit my site gameofconversions.com and check out my blog articles. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, then kudos to you. Have a great day. Stay safe. Cheers.